Thanks for watching What's in the Box. Today we'll be taking a look at Necas Friday the 13th Part 2 Jason Voorhees figure. I've sort of come to love these movies. I'm not sure exactly why. I picked up the video game several years ago, and up until that point I just thought Jason was a basic slasher. I didn't really care for the character outside of his look. But the game kind of changed that for me. It was so fun watching Jason in-game kill me and me become Jason and kill counselors that it kind of really intrigued me, and I started taking a look at the movies. In the meantime, I sort of started to fall in love with them, and sometimes how goofy they were and sometimes how great they were. I kind of feel like the first four are pretty fantastic. 5 is so-so. 6 and 7, great again. And the others, they could have tried harder. I do love Kane in the part. I particularly love part 7 just because of Jason's look, because of how Kane plays him. And so it'll be fun to take a look at some of those later figures when they do come out. NECA has put out several of these, but they haven't put out any Kane figures at all. So they announced a part 7 should be coming out in a month or two. It keeps getting kind of delayed because of the crappy lawsuit, but hopefully we will see that soon enough, along with the others. As far as another look for him that I enjoy is, funny enough, Jason X. That's a goofy movie, but I really like Uber Jason. As far as old school looks go, I still kind of really like part 6, and I love part 3 and 4 really. Part 3 has a special place for me because that's where he picks up his hockey mask, and just that's where we get a classic Jason look. Part 2 Jason does kind of have that in the sack reveal when the sack comes off and all that, but part 3 is where they kind of really solidify his character. Anyway, we'll take a look at what's inside the box right now. Alright, so he's out of the box, and he does come with quite a few accessories. I think I will start with the figure this time instead of going over the accessories. The figure's pretty solid. I think he's a little too skinny. I think he could have used a little more width in his shoulders. But overall, just he seems a little too thin to me. He was a big guy, so I don't know, but slight nitpick there. Top to bottom, the sack head is probably the weakest part of this figure, actually. It's just the paint's kind of slopped on. It's meant to be muddy and crummy, of course, but it's kind of the weak point. But it's okay, nonetheless. Following that up is the shirt, which is particularly well done. The striping is solid. There's no real issues there. It has multiple colors, light blue, medium blue, dark blue, and so that creates quite a bit of interest there. As far as his hands go, those are done pretty well. You even have some blood on this particular hand, and the overalls are actually a standout characteristic here. They're really well sculpted. I believe they're rubbery in nature. They kind of limit ab crunch just a tiny bit, but you kind of expect that. I mean, you have buttons that are painted, all the pockets. You even have a tag on the back here. So that's pretty cool. The boots are fairly standard for NECA. They're black with a light gray wash. So decent. Sack head, a weak point. His build, kind of a weak point. past that, he comes with a great selection of accessories, to be honest with you. The standout here would be the fire pit, which NECA did not have to include, but they did. I believe this is the fire pit that they all sit around and tell the history of Jason, or the myth of Jason, just before the counselors go about their business. And by business, I mean business. And so yeah, it's nicely done. It has this little fire insert you just slap on there. It would have been nice if that was lit. It's not, but it's okay. And the rocks are really well done. The wood is really well done. The rocks kind of light and darks, even some browns airbrushed in there. So yeah, I like that. It was really nice to have in this set. We also get Pamela Voorhees' Rotten Head. I don't know if this is the same sculpt that they did way back in the day when this came out as a box set. It had a box set with the altar from Jason's shack. I wish I had the accessories from that, but that thing is way expensive at this point. But that's well done. It has a brown wash over it, and it kind of fits the rotting head of Mrs. Voorhees. Coming up on the heels of that is Jason's unmasked head. I wouldn't say this is a weak point. The sculpt is pretty good. The hair color is nice. The variation in skin tone is pretty nice. But like the sack head and like Mrs. Voorhees' head, they just kind of slopped on this brown wash, and that kind of takes away from the overall look. His eyes are still well painted, teeth, all of that. So, not too bad. I don't really know what head I would display him with. Probably alternate between the two, really. As far as accessories go, we have plenty of Jason's weapons. There's not too many lacking from the movie. I believe at one point he uses a claw hammer on the police chief that's snooping around his shack. That's not included, but I guess it's not really a huge deal. What you do get is Jason's infamous machete. This has a particular look. I think it's double-edged in the movie because they use it multiple ways. This is, of course, used in the most infamous and somewhat hilarious scenes in the movie, where he takes out poor Mark, I believe is his name, who's set in the wheelchair, hits him real good. This is stuck in his head, and he bounces down the staircase. Unintentionally hilarious, but hilarious all the same. He quickly moves on to a pair of the counselor who's doing the thing, and he spears them straight through, mounted together. Mounted, I say. And this sticks into the floorboards below him. It's decently painted. The machete's really well painted, especially the blood. This is pretty standard brown with a silver tip. I believe he quickly moves on to his next victim, who was the girl flirting with Mark in the wheelchair, and runs her through with this wonderful Michael Myers knife. I think of Myers anytime I see one of these. But yeah, that's included. And then we have the pickaxe. Now, I'm not sure who he uses this against in the movie, but you do see him running around with it towards the end, and I think he's chasing Jenny, our final girl. In the game, though, this is quite interesting, because you can use this to smack into somebody's head and then turn their head like a corkscrew. It's horrible, it's gruesome, it's fun. Last but not least, well, I guess least, because I honestly can't remember him using this pitchfork, is a pitchfork. It's pretty well done. It's kind of silver but rusty. There's a little paint spill on this handle, but overall, not too much paint spill on this figure at all. I seriously am blanking on who he kills with this, if he kills anyone. Maybe the guy at the start of the film. I don't know. They also didn't include the screwdriver that he kills. I can't remember her character name, sorry. But he kills Adrienne King, who is the actress with the screwdriver. But yeah, I can't remember the pitchfork. If you know, scream it in the comments below. But as you can see, pretty well done figure overall. Some weak points, you know, his size, the sack head. A little weak on the unmasked Jason head. But overall decent. I mean, this was, at least I believe, one of their entry-level Ultimate figures. I keep saying entry-level. It's a mental thing. Why, I don't know. But, yeah. I think fairly decent. So far, I haven't seen many figures that I would just completely tear apart. But, yeah. I think it's pretty solid, and I really look forward to getting into the other figures. They've announced a part 7. I would love to see that happen, but the lawsuit keeps pushing it off and off and off. Fingers crossed we get it in the next couple months, really. But I would love to see all of Kane's, Jason's, make it into figure form. I want the whole line. Much like Freddy or some of the other classics, I want every version of them I can get. But thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Stick around. It's not over yet.